Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Month of the Full Moon here on Reaction and Review. Tonight, guys, we close out this month-long look at full moon features by taking a nice look at one of their newest films. Not only is this one of their newer outings, but it's also the latest entry in one of my favorite franchises of all time, the Puppet Master series. I'm, of course, talking about 2012's Puppet Master 10 Axis Rising. Now, for those of you who haven't seen my previous 8 videos where I've talked about the Puppet Master movies, for the most part, I greatly enjoy them. And I also mentioned at the end of Puppet Master Axis of Evil, which is the 9th entry, that I was kind of happy with the fact that it had a sequel hook. I really wanted to see what was going to happen from there. And thank God, Full Moon gave us a direct sequel, and I have high hopes that this thing is going to be awesome. But the only way I'm going to find out is if I shut the fuck up and I push play, and god damn it, I am going to do that right now. So without further ado, it's time to kick back, relax, and check out Puppet Master 10 Axis Rising. Wait. So, you're not going to inform the U.S. military that there are Japanese and German soldiers all over Los Angeles because you don't want them to know that you're really just looking for help to save your magic puppet. Look, dude, I really don't think that they are going to give a shit about the details. Just the simple fact that Japanese and German soldiers are all over LA would probably be enough for them to do most of the heavy lifting for you without you even mentioning the fucking puppet. I'm sorry, guys, just a little bit of thought would have been really great there, but no, sure. Go ahead and take on 2 fucking countries alone. That's awesome sense. You know, I would totally be able to buy this actress's German accent if it wasn't constantly slipping for some inexplicable reason into British. Swear to God, guys, her accent jumps from German to British quite often. It's very, very off-putting. So, magic, dreams, and nightmares were all on Earth before man was on Earth? I'm not even going to ask how in the hell that's possible. Just sounded incredibly stupid. Kind of hoping for some kind of an explanation on that one. They have a music box which plays the Puppet Master theme? Where the fuck can I get one of those? I would love a music box that you open it up and it plays the fucking Puppet Master theme. That'd be fucking amazing, dude. Okay, that puppet was standing maybe about 2 feet in front of all 3 of our heroes. She has guns mounted onto her chest, and they're fucking machine guns. How the hell do you miss 3 targets from 2 feet away with fucking machine guns? I kind of thought that was a goddamned impossibility. Wow, I have been proven wrong. That's interesting. Okay, this honestly is getting just a little bit sad. We have a bunch of people in a very small room, and the Nazi puppets show up. 2 of them are armed with machine guns. They hit 1 person in this tiny room. Apparently, the Nazis do not know how to make puppets who can fucking aim. Oh, never mind. Body count's now up to 2. Out of a possible, like, 5 fucking targets. That's still pretty goddamn sad. Well, guys, that was Puppet Master 10 Axis Rising. Let me shut the movie off here. Okay. Oh, man. Well, I guess the best place to start is just how is it in comparison with the other Puppet Master movies? And I will say that while it's nowhere near as bad as, say, Curse of the Puppet Master, which still ranks as the by far the worst entry in the entire fucking series, it's still not the best. Allow me to explain why. We might as well start with let's start with the writing. All right, the writing here is really strong. I mean, strong by Puppet Master standards, because frankly, guys, if this thing wasn't tied into the Puppet Master franchise, and it was just another full moon film featuring, living toys, I would probably have said that it was a pile of shit. The only thing that kind of keeps it, afloat is the fact that it's part of the Puppet Master series, and the quality of writing on the Puppet Master movies was never top notch stuff. So it does at least match. Well, it doesn't. Well, it comes in a little bit below the average. So. But still, though, we have here a story which is really good, and it is certainly a nice follow-up to Puppet Master Axis of Evil. So, and in fact, this one even has yet another sequel hook, makes me think that we may have a trilogy here, which I'm kind of looking forward to, because even though, guys, the writing here, and I am going to go into more detail on writing, even though the writing wasn't as good as previous Puppet Master outings, it was still strong enough for me to want to see more, and that is the very least you can ask for if you're going to write a film and leave a sequel hook at the very end. I should also mention that the sequel hook in this one is a little bit more subtle than the one in Puppet Master Axis of Evil. That one there basically was bludgeoning you with the fact that they were going to put out Puppet Master 10. This time around, it is a little bit more subtle. Now, amongst things like characterization and everything, we still have back Danny and Beth, and they basically are exactly as they were in Puppet Master Axis of Evil, so that's always a positive. Almost every single one of the new characters who are brought in, they all feel a little bit shallow, there really wasn't a whole lot of effort there. It basically felt almost as if they wanted to just get another Puppet Master film rushed out there as fast as possible, so they just wrote up this story involving Nazis who want to try to build a Nazi SS officer who wants to build some kind of a resurrection chamber, and he's holding a German scientist hostage in order to get the fucking thing built. And the reason why the SS officer wants it built is because he sees it as a form of dark magic, and he's really into the occult. And he's really into believing in magic, or correction, the fact that human beings are able to synthesize something which is like magic, which is why alchemy is what it is. It all felt a little bit flimsy, and the writing could probably have stood a little bit of tightening, and it might have been a little bit better. Characters could have been fleshed out a little bit more, because we have Sarge, who winds up joining Danny and Beth. He has no personality to speak of, outside of the fact that he is a loutish, brutish American soldier who has done, in his own words, 11 tours, and now he's basically babysitting a pair of 20-somethings in friggin' Los Angeles. And that really is about the only that's really the only characterization he has, is that, first of all, he insists that everybody calls him Sarge because, everybody calls him Sarge, and he's usually either kind of whiny, or he is an absolute slob, or he's the most gung-ho human being to ever walk the earth. He has no other personality beyond that, and frankly, out of every single one of the new characters, he is the most developed. So yeah, writing here is not exactly the best. However, it is still serviceable, and again, that is the very least you can ask for with writing, because I did still find myself in enjoying the movie even with the slightly flimsy writing. Now, special effects, though, on the other hand, oh my god, this thing, guys, has fallen hard from the absolutely beautiful special effects from like the first 5 Puppet Masters, where a lot of it was done with stop motion. It looked fantastic. Here it's almost all animatronic, and it looks a little iffy. I mean, I really cannot put my finger on what looks wrong with a whole lot of this. I mean, because some of it looks okay. Example, like with such as like Blade will always look awesome. I mean, it's just his general look. However, his fucking movements here look really good, and you can tell almost all of it is done with animatronics or with rods or with wires, and it doesn't look as good as it did in the previous films, but it still looks okay. Then we get to another one of my favorite puppets who shows up in the film, and that is Six, and that's Six Shooter. They have a brand new puppet for him, it looks like, and he doesn't move. He has, naturally, 6 arms, and you can see that all of them are connected to each other by the fucking wrist with fishing line. So basically then when one arm moves, the other 3 on that side move. And they never had that in any of his other previous outings, at least, or correction, I should say, it wasn't as blitheringly noticeable. Puppet work in this thing, in general, it just felt a little bit lazy. Again, except for Blade. Blade, honestly, seems to be like the only puppet who came out, unscathed. And the Nazis also have their own puppets. One of them I want to talk about is Blitzkrieg, who is essentially a living Nazi tank. And, you can painfully tell that he is just a fucking RC tank because he still has his antenna. It still has the antenna, which wouldn't have been there if it were a genuine living puppet and they try to hide it by hanging a Nazi flag off it, but it still looks like a goddamned antenna. It was a very horrible and cheap way to try to hide it. So yeah, that much there was a little bit off. However, though, he still looked cool, and when it comes to the Puppet Master series, that usually is at least one of the one of the rules, is that the puppets at least have to look cool. It also helps if it also helps if when they move it looks sort of cool too, but this movie kind of faltered on that, and I could also tell that I was in for a bad time in terms of special effects when I noticed that there isn't a single squib in the entire film. We have characters who are being shot at, and if a bullet hits, it's a fucking CG squib, and it looks absolutely hideous. Guys, I'm gonna tell you right now, Puppet Master 10 here's got the worst special effects in the entire franchise. And that is saying a lot considering the bullshit that they had to work with fucking Puppet Master 6. Curse of the Puppet Master. I mean, just the very fact that this thing makes the effects in that movie look good is not a good thing. So yeah, guys, effects here are just absolutely hideous, and I could probably be here all fucking day just talking about how bad a lot of these effects are. Let's talk about the acting. Well, the acting kind of sucks, but then again, the acting kind of sucked in the previous film too. And since this is a direct sequel, at least that's par for the course. I actually think it'd be a little bit odd if the acting suddenly got better. So the acting is still that same level of cheesiness that kind of works. So I really can't fault that. However, I wish that they would have gotten actors who could play Nazi officers, who could hold on to a believable sounding German accent for more than 10 seconds, because all 3 of them either seem to slip into they either seem to slip into British, American English. One of them almost sounds like it slips into Swedish, like the actor who plays the scientist. His accent, it almost sounds like it's like slipping into Swedish every so often. It's very, very weird. And that really is about the only negative I truly have with the acting, is that none of our Nazi characters could hold on to that fucking German accent. It was actually kind of funny. Beyond all that, guys, camera work here is fantastic. Lighting here is great. The sets look really good, but again, All of that, the lighting, the camera work, the sets, all of that is a holdover from Puppet Master 9. So really, I'm basically just praising it for staying at least a little bit consistent. So there is that. Now, when all is said and done, at the end of the day, am I able to recommend Puppet Master 10 Axis Rising? Kind of. Allow me to explain. If you've never seen a Puppet Master movie in your entire life, you do not want to start with this one, besides the fact that, well, it's a direct continuation of Puppet Master Axis of Evil. If you really want a Puppet Master movie to start with, I'd say go with 1, or maybe 3, 4, or 5. Or rather 3 or 4, because again, 5 is kind of like this, a direct sequel. If you've never seen a Puppet Master movie, I'd highly recommend you go and check out the previous 9 before you watch this one. Of course, though, the option to skip over 2 and 6, or, well, that would probably be 4 the best if you skipped over Puppet Masters 2 and 6. But still, if you are a Puppet Master fan, there is at least a little something here which you can probably enjoy. Now, I bought this thing on Amazon. I think it was for like $10, and do I honestly think it was worth $10? No. This thing would probably have been a lot more fitting if it were about $7. This thing is not a $10 purchase. So even if you're a fan of the Puppet Master series, I highly recommend you attempt to find this thing as cheap as possible, because it's good, but it's not $10 good. I just want to make that point abundantly clear right now. So, guys, with that, wow, we have finished Month of the Full Moon, and it's kind of sad that really, like, the best movies were Doll Man and this thing kind of sort of stumbled a little bit. Oh, and also Evil Bong 1 was also at least passable. So yeah, I hope that the next time I do a Month of the Full Moon, I'm hopefully going to broaden it out a little bit, not just stick to a couple of fucking franchises. I am going to try to cover even more and just kind of give you guys a bit more scope as to what Full Moon can really do. But yeah, I honestly think that the month was fun, even, with the shitty movies that I had to cover. And closing it out with Puppet Master, even a slightly subpar Puppet Master, is always a fantastic way to, end off a month. I mean, to me, guys, that right there was just fucking tops. So yes, guys, with that, we come to the close of another reaction and review. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, take care, and I will see you all in the near future. Peace.